next section in Colossians chapter 3, 18 and 19, harkening back to verse 17, he said, whatever you do in word or deed, do it in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him. Then it says, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands, not to anybody else's, as is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and don't be bitter against them. This is best shown in daily relationships, this doing things to God. The church has missed the point on this, I think, in past years. They've seen submission as a Tarzan Jane thing, and it's not at all. In the Ephesians letter, he starts out in 4:18, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. It means, I think, this is what it looks like. She gives where she's supposed to give. You give where you're supposed to give. It's the cogs in a gear with Christ at the center as the pivot, working together. It's a team thing. Husbands are to love their wives. Wives are told to submit. That means it's a military term. Arrange themselves in order under their husbands. God lays a heavy responsibility to lead on men. But man is never directed to make his wife submit. If you think that, you miss a point. A woman isn't directed to make her husband love her. God puts the responsibility on each of us to do it right. It's cooperation. You know the way he made us. If a man will unselfishly love his wife as Christ loved the church, and give himself for us, he'll gladly cooperate with him in their life together. I don't like the idea of a Tarzan and Jane thing. I don't think that's what God has in mind at all. The scriptures teaches that we, men and women, are fellow heirs of the grace of life. In fact, 1 Peter says, men, if you don't treat your wife with honor as the more valuable vessel, then your prayers are hindered. So we're on the same spiritual playing field in him. My wife and I are a team. I've learned to love her more as the years go by. You want to know something, though? Even when I didn't do it as well as I should, even when I wasn't what I should be, she looked at 1 Peter, and it says in 1 Peter 3, wives, be in subjection to your husbands, that if they obey not the word, they also may be without the word, be won by the conduct of their wives. Boy, before I grew to see this whole deal of cooperation, she saw it as her godly task to be a cooperative counterpoint for me. If anybody views this again as putting a lower value on another person, they miss the point. It's a military term, as I said. I'm a citizen of this country. But for a time, I submitted myself to the authority of someone else. That sergeant was no more valuable a citizen than I, but he was in charge of my platoon. I was a part of that platoon, and therefore I worked with the team. I submitted for the good of the whole. That takes God. You ponder that, Pastor Steve.